Where is the ATV?
I sold it to a friend.
The name of the friend and the phone number of the friend.
I don't have that on me.
That's too bad. Where do you live?
Omaha, Nebraska.
You want to get home?
Yeah.
Get me the name of the friend. Do you understand?
Did you hear Welcome, everybody. My name is Duchess, and this is Dutch for the Missing, where we talk about true crime and missing cases. Can I get a 1 in the chat and let me know if my audio is okay? Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. I appreciate y'all joining me. Sometimes we do live streams on Sunday when I have a special update. And today I have a very special guest. I have Sharon Johnston here with me. Thank you for joining me today, Sharon. How are you?
Great. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time to come over and talk to us about your daughter, Amber Rae Johnston. I've been covering her case on my channel for 3.5 years, since February of 2022. And we have been searching for answers, hanging up flyers, asking questions, boots on the ground, flip-flops on the ground, as Libby would say back then, trying to get answers and find justice for Amber. Here's a picture of Amber and her daughter. And if you guys have not caught up on the Amber Rae Johnston case, the link to the playlist, I believe, is in the description. There is a playlist with all the videos back from the very beginning of Amber Rae Johnston's case. And I do have her flyer up. And, you know, in Amber's case, you know, she went missing back on August the 16th. That's when she supposedly left Bullhead City, Arizona on a Greyhound bus. However, she supposedly traveled all the way to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where she got off the bus and purchased a ticket to Pennsylvania to go home to her mom's. However, she never reboarded the bus in Winston-Salem. And then, you know, we did ask a lot of questions to Detective Sharp in Bullhead City. You know, can you pull the camera footage? Can you ping her phone? Sharon stayed on him constantly seeking answers. And her phone, we found out, pinged August the 19th in Charlotte, North Carolina. It took quite a few years, phone calls, emails, putting pressure on the law enforcement here in South Carolina, making phone calls to law enforcement in Winston-Salem, continuing to make phone calls to law enforcement in Arizona to try to coordinate these efforts. Sharon went on to find out that Amber's bank account had actually been accessed by somebody other than Amber while she was missing, and her Social Security disability money was withdrawn and transferred into a Cash App and PayPal that did not belong to Amber. We finally were able to get her in NamUs and get that information procured there so that Sharon and Amber's daughter could have their DNA samples collected by law enforcement. Pennsylvania State Police, did they actually collect that DNA, Sharon?
Oh, yes. And the minute they were contacted, they called me. They were out here that day. They were fantastic, I have to tell you. And I knew one of the state policemen from something prior, not pertaining to Amber, and they were just fantastic.
It's a long process to get the DNA processed because NamUs is so backed up. So once they collect that DNA sample, sometimes it just sits there for months and months and months. Right, Sharon?
It took a long time. I kept saying, is it in the system? Is it in the system? And they claimed there was a backup and it was because of COVID. And I mean, I asked to pay. I said, I'll pay extra money to get this processed. You know, yeah, that was the first hurdle. Getting her in NamUs, trying to find, see where is her cards being used, stuff like that. That was the start of everything.
Right, exactly.
And that's when we found out her SNAP benefits were being used down Myrtle Beach. And I had hopes at that time that she was down there. And that would have been probably in late February, March of 2022. And then I went there, and that's kind of where I start learning a lot of different other things that weren't good.
Yeah.
And it just, I knew it was going to take a bad turn.
Yep. And, you know, Libby and I we went all the way to Bucksport, South Carolina, which we ran into a guy who actually knew her boyfriend, Jarrett Ward, and had seen them walking in Bucksport down the street. He knew they were homeless. He was homeless himself. He knew Jarrett very well. And he said one day he had seen them walking together, and the next time he saw Jarrett, Amber was not with him. And I remember talking to that guy. It was the strangest situation. We put up flyers all over this area trying to find answers. And I remember Libby and I would go out at least a couple times a month and put up flyers near his mom's address, and we would go back and those flyers would be torn down. So we would just put more up, and they would be torn down, and we'd put more up. Because we needed to get answers. Unfortunately, her ex-boyfriend, Jarrett Ward, overdosed in September of 2024. And I say, unfortunately, we never want anybody to pass away.
23.
23. The unfortunate part about that is because I do believe that Jarrett Ward may have had information that he could have given law enforcement, and law enforcement would never contact him and interview him. And that's why you had tried to open up the case about the money that was taken out of her bank account.
Yeah, they kept saying, I said, look, she's not using it. He said, I went to Myrtle Beach Police. I flew down there and went there, and Jarrett was to meet me there, but then he said he don't trust the police, and he wasn't. After I flew down there, and he acted like he was going to do anything he could to help. And I said, well, you got to show him your messages that you've had with her since she got off that bus in Charlotte on the 19th. And he showed me some of the messages, and it's on her site. And anyways, when we got down there, he just absolutely refused. He said, I talked to an attorney and, all this crap. But the thing is, all I wanted them to do was talk to them. I'm not saying they did anything to her. I'm saying in my mind, and I felt this way all along, there was too many inconsistencies and too many untruths. And in my mind, he knows what happened to her. He knows something, he knew something, and I believe he probably has told some friends, and there's other people that know something of how my daughter got there and what happened. And, that is the last piece of the puzzle that I may never find out, but I'm going to sure try. But I hope somebody someday comes forward, and I believe it'll be someone in Myrtle Beach area. That's how I feel.
I think it's possible. Yeah, Elizabeth Lander said they wouldn't let us put up signs at the truck stop, but we did at local places. Elizabeth, I do appreciate you and Ray Law for going out there and hanging up flyers and, trying to do what you can up in the Charlotte area. That really means a lot to Sharon and to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So thank you for doing that. This whole case has been so wild. And then I got a message, and I know you're not going to forget this, because I remember that I called you and I said, Sharon, I have been sent these pictures, and I don't know how they are just now coming public, because these were taken obviously back in August of 2021. And they've just been released. And that was, I guess, the first part of 2024.
Yes.
2023, first part of 2024. And someone sent those pictures to me and said, I think you need to see this. Can you send these to Sharon Johnston? This could be her daughter. And as soon as I opened up that file and looked at the pictures, my heart sank because I just felt it in my spirit. I was like, I felt like I'd seen a ghost. I was like, this is Amber. And I had to call you immediately, but I didn't know that someone had already reached out to you and that you had already seen this. Tell me about these pictures when you first saw this right here. And if you guys are able to see this on your phones or on your laptop, these pictures are from a trail cam, and we're going to look at the Google Earth because I want you guys to see this area. You can see the date on this is August the 22nd of 2021 at 4:30 in the morning. August the 22nd. Now remember, she left Bullhead City, Arizona on the 16th, and her phone last pinged on the 19th in Union County, right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, now I have my papers here, and on August 19th, that is when she was in Winston-Salem, booked, paid, and picked up a ticket at 7:15 a.m. to come back to Pittsburgh. I believe it was leaving at 11:40 p.m. I have that written here, but she never boarded that. She never boarded that that bus. But she purchased that ticket, booked, paid, and picked up on August 19th in the morning when she got to Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have her in Winston-Salem then.
So what actually, there had to be something that transpired for her to not get on that bus. And then her phone ended up in Charlotte. But if you remember, Sharon, we talked about that because Jarrett Ward told us, he sent you the message and told you that Amber used his EBT card at a gas station.
Yes, on August 19th. And he thought, first he said that he thought she got confused and that she got, because if you look on her Facebook site, there was a video, a goofy video without her on a bus. And where was that at again? You know where it's that bus. We had Ensley.
Yes, that was in Alabama.
Yeah, is that Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did I think it was somewhere else? But anyway, he said, I see where she was at because my bus went through there, he said, and I know where that's at, and she might have got lost, and that's a bad area. And then he said another time that whenever he called me after you guys put pressure and put signs at his half-sister's house down in the middle of nowhere. I forget where that was at. You'll probably remember. You guys went down, and that's where Libby said, I'll go down. I don't care. Remember?
Yeah, that was it. That was in Bucksport. Yeah.
No, not Bucksport. That was the other place.
Oh, where the homeless camp was.
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, where someone lived and it said his address. It was
in Loris.
Yes.
Yes, we went to his sister's house.
Yeah, and that spooked him, and that's when he finally called me. And he said he had a transaction in Charlotte, North Carolina on his food stamps. So he thought maybe she could have been there because she used his food stamp card. And I said, why would she use your food stamp, which is SNAP's benefits? And this is before I knew a lot of things, before I came down there.
Right.
And I said, why would she use your card when she's not even using her own? And he had no answer to me. And then he starts sending me some messages about how she was coming to be with him and she didn't want to be with us, which is contradictory to what one of her friends told me, that on the way home, she said she wanted to be with her family. And she told this friend around here, and I don't want to say her name. If she would want to talk, that would be fine. But she told her, and she just told me all about this. She told me before, but she refreshed my memory real recently. that Amber, she even called and tried to find a bed for Amber to get herself a little straightened out because she wanted to be with her family. And she said that was the last time and she wanted to see this girl's child. So that was the last time she talked to her, but she talked to her on that bus and she was coming home. So, you know, how she got to Charlotte and how she got then down to the other place, which I've heard she could walk there. Bull crapola. Amber never walked there. If Amber wanted to go to Myrtle Beach or Amber wanted to go where she was last seen, she could have traded her ticket in from Pittsburgh that she didn't use. And she could have bought one to go to Myrtle Beach. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
She got there to meet someone for something, whether someone owed her money. I know Jared said she had his glasses. Maybe he wanted his glasses. I don't know. And I'm just, that's just one outlet. I don't know, but someone met her there and I'll never feel any different. And she got into trouble and she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You can see Elizabeth says here on the screen, I highlighted her comment, Dutchie, that card couldn't be used in those machines. Remember us talking about that, Sharon? I told you those girls were going to check because he said that she used the SNAP benefit card to buy a drink out of one of those machines. And when the girls got there, Elizabeth and Raylaw said, those machines don't take those cards. And I think Elizabeth also said she spoke to the store manager and her name was Amber too. Thank you for reminding me of that, Elizabeth. And I do appreciate you going to verify that information because just knowing that he's been caught in a lie.
Well, for some reason, what that's telling me is that his card was used somewhere around there, whether it'd been in the store, whether it'd been somewhere, and someone should have checked it. Someone should have checked his stuff, but they didn't want to because they said, Amber gave him that stuff. How do we know she's missing? Are you kidding me? That, you know, even the FBI had the files, and you know what they said? The amount of money doesn't meet the threshold to investigate. Really? I should have never called and had that money stopped because he would have kept spending it till the day he died.
That was thousands of dollars. That's a federal crime.
Over 10,000. And guess what? I had it stopped. I'm the one that had it stopped.
Do you believe, Sharon, that this was about the money? Because Jarrett did tell you in a message that Amber left him stranded in the desert. Do you remember that?
He told me one day when we were talking, I said, I want my daughter. Yeah, you know, he said, look, I think her money should go to her kids. And I wrote to him and I go, I don't want no money. Obviously, he was thinking about the money he spent that I didn't know about, right? And I said, I don't want any money. I just love my daughter. I want my daughter back. And he said, she left me stranded to die in the desert before I came home. So, yeah, I think that, you know what I really think? It was payback. Yeah. She didn't get out there on her own, and I'll never believe it. She didn't walk there. Not in that kind of weather with not even a drink and nobody to see her. Yet they're saying that she might have got there because she was all drugged up. Well, she wasn't on drugs walking there. She certainly looks like she's walking fine in these pictures that I can't look at.
Yeah, and for CLK, just to let you know, CLK says she looks hurt. Is her legs bruised or is it a shadow? It looks to be in these particular pictures on the trail cam footage that she's actually wearing some type of leggings. And I know it's very difficult to tell in these pictures, but it appears that she has on some type of leggings and she's barefoot. She does have on a bra and she's carrying a walking stick. And just by the motion of her going through this, it looks almost like her leg might be injured.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And again, these pictures are from August the 22nd of 2021. And Jarrett's out here saying, oh, well, it's probably her that's spending the money. No. No, because here she is in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to look
No,
at
no,
that.
that's what the police said, Dutchie.
Oh, the
How do we
police said
know
that.
that she didn't
Oh,
give
my
him?
gracious.
And I go, why would she? They were broke up. Why would she give him that? Why would she let him? She's not spending her own money. Are you kidding me? You know, the guy that was using her SNAP benefits admitted and showed me the messages where Jarrett sold him Amber's SNAP benefit numbers. And at that time it was COVID, and you could go and place an order online and use that SNAP card and pick up your groceries. And he told him to quit using it. You know what Jarrett told Jarrett Ward said, and I have the messages because Mr. Leary got scared and showed me. Jarrett Ward said, but if they find a body, I ain't going down for this. Quit using her card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going down for this.
Yeah, because he did sell her SNAP card. So why would she have taken his? Because at one time she had her own SNAP card that Jarrett had actually taken from her and sold for money without her permission. So you can see the pants at the bottom of that, Michelle? Yeah. It's kind of difficult to see in this picture, but I do appreciate y'all being here. Please don't forget to like and share this out. I think this awareness is very important because we do have other parents that their adult children are missing. And this just goes to show how difficult it can be, even working with law enforcement, to try to get answers in these cases and get law enforcement to take you serious. And LFT, this was captured on a trail cam in Anson County, which is actually between Charlotte, North Carolina, and Little River, South Carolina, which is where Jarrett Ward's mother lived at the time. Now, Jarrett and Amber had been homeless here in Myrtle Beach, and they decided to take off out west to Bullhead City, Arizona, and they were living out there. And, you know, we had wondered if, you know, because Jarrett's family just lives right up the street from where I'm at, not far at all. So if she was going to be returning to this area, there's a very good chance that she would have been headed right near my home, because Jarrett may have been at his mother's, because he did get the Catholic Church to buy him a Greyhound bus ticket from Las Vegas, because he went from Bullhead City, Arizona to Las Vegas, and then had a Catholic charity to buy him a bus ticket to come all the way back here to North Myrtle Beach to where his mom is.
And he does have ties to people in North Carolina as well.
Yes, there. I think he has family in Tabor City, right over the state line of the North Carolina, South Carolina line. Tabor City's not that far. It's probably about 30 minutes from me. So let's take a look at that area, because I feel like it's really important for you guys to understand what we're looking at. I'm going to share my screen. Let me give it a second to pop up here. Supposedly that Michelle says, so he just allegedly left her. Well, apparently they had a fight. Is that how it went, Sharon?
No, she told him to get out, and they had a fight. He claimed she left him in a desert. All I know is he got to Las Vegas, where one of his friends was living, and he bought a ticket back. In fact, he did talk to me and say he was coming back. And he came back about 2 weeks before she left. He came back, he leaves, and he said Amber stole his glasses. And he went to Vegas on, I think, 8/2, and said he got a ticket from a charity program and was coming home. Now, I know when he came home, I'm not sure if he lived with his mom, but he claims he was living in a camp. It's a homeless camp with Jarrett Leary and some other friends. And he was waiting for Amber to come down there. because she wanted to be with him so much. Her friend says that's bull, that she was done with the crap.
Yeah. So this is the Anson County Armory right here. This is 74, this highway. And Amber was found out in, look at all these woods, y'all. Look at all these woods out here. This is where she was dropped off at. She was out in the middle of all of this. That's where these trail cams were at.
Huh.
Now, there's Anson High School. There is a main intersection right here. There's Anson High School. There's a baseball field. Now, this is some new construction right here that was not there at the time that this all happened. But because they were having to survey the land out here, this was all woods at the time right here. You can see my mouse moving. This was still all woods. What happened was the trail cam footage was taken in 2021, and then apparently once this land was surveyed, the people that were out there doing the survey actually found the remains while they were out there doing some surveying. And that's how all of this came to light. But I just wanted you guys to see, we're talking about out in the middle of nothing. Okay. This is the only main, I wanted to give you perspective, because when you shrink this down, like this is the way that there's Wadesboro, where all of this took place. Here's that main road. You know, here's Charlotte up here. You can see this road right here that comes right in through Wadesboro. I mean, it's bypass 74 that takes you all the way into Indian Trail, Matthews, and right into Charlotte, right there. And that store was on Statesville Avenue, if I remember correctly, Sharon. Statesville Avenue. So you can get on bypass 74 right out of Charlotte and come right on down bypass 74 and go right into Wadesboro. And if you keep on 74, it runs into Main 74 right here. And that is a road that I take back and forth to my mama's in North Carolina all the time. You just take 74 right here and just keep on following. Here it comes through Laurel Hill, Laurinburg. Just keep on 74. It'll bring you all the way in. Crosses into Lumberton, goes right over 95, comes right down into Chadburn. You can get off right at Chadburn. It takes you right into Tabor City. And you can take Tabor City right across the North Carolina, South Carolina line, right into Little River. It's a straight shot, pretty much. I think Wadesboro is 2 hours and 20 minutes from my house. So I just wanted to give you guys like perspective on that. Charlotte right up here, like it just comes straight down. You got Wadesboro right up here, which Charlotte's pretty close to Wadesboro. It's probably maybe like an hour and something, maybe not even that. And then you just take 74, it'll just bring you all the way in. It's pretty crazy.
Okay, I'm looking at my email. I'm looking at my old past note from him. And what he wrote, I found an email receipt from a Coke machine. Yeah, that's what he said, a Coke machine in Charlotte. And Greyhound, Sharon, from a card she took from me when we split up. So I don't believe she took any card from him. He took all her crap. But anyways, because I knew he did, and so did all her friends. That's why she was so messed up. And he was saying people were drones and all this other crap. He had her all freaking dope sick. And I think that to take advantage of her, that's what her friends say, and I believe it. But anyways, he found an email receipt from a Coke machine at a Charlotte Greyhound, a machine in Charlotte. He wrote.
He said that she used it in a machine, and
Yeah,
that
no,
was key for me.
It says from a card she took from me when we split up. So I thought he said a snap card. So did he have a Visa card? And I might have misunderstood. He said it was an email receipt from a Coke machine in Charlotte. And back then, but I swear it was a snap card because I think he told me a snap card too. But in my notes, this is what I wrote. He had an email receipt. But you know what? Her snap card had all kind of email receipts too, because Jarrett Leary was using it all through Myrtle Beach. And he showed me all, you know what? Jarrett Ward had all her email receipts of when Jarrett Leary used her SNAP benefits. How do you like that one? And he showed him, look, man, you're using her card. Oh, that I'm just so frustrated. But anyway, and nobody would do anything. Unbelievable. I couldn't get anybody to question them. Just ask them. You know, maybe we could have found her sooner. I'm not saying you did anything. Just tell us where she's at because you knew.
Yeah, because if they would have just called him in to question him about the money, maybe he would have given them some information that would have shed some light on this situation much
And maybe
sooner.
he could have just said she ran off, we got in a fight, okay, or whatever. Don't tell me nobody knows. I'll never know what happened, but I know somebody knows how she got there, and she didn't get there on her own. She got there because she was running, or someone dumped her there.
Yeah, it does seem pretty suspicious.
Where's her phone? Why wasn't her phone there? She would never leave her lifeline. I don't want to hear you're paranoid on drugs. She would never leave her lifeline in an hour and a half, 2 hours away in Charlotte. Never. That phone was taken just as long with her shoes. It's funny she didn't have shoes because she told her friend Melody and she told her daughter when she came home in 2020 and she left him that his mother and him did not want her to leave when she left. And she came back here and she screwed up because she didn't stay. But her mom, she went back to him. But his mom and Jarrett cut the tongues out of her shoes, cut her shoes and took the shoelaces out so that she didn't have shoes to wear to go anywhere out of all of her shoes. Isn't it ironic she didn't have any shoes?
LFT, we do have the area where the card was used. It was at a gas station on Statesville Avenue. And I can actually look that up and I'll show you where that is. And like I said, Elizabeth Lander and Ray Law went there. And the Coke machines that are there do not accept cards at that gas station.
Now, keep in mind, this is what Jarrett told me. So
Right.
I'm assuming it was at that place. But I do know that he told me for a reason. He told me because he was affiliated with wherever that card was used. And he was scared. That's how I feel about it. He didn't want to be associated to the area she was missing.
Let me see if I can find that gas station. Was it a Pilot travel station, Elizabeth?
He told me a Flying J's, but I'm not sure.
Let me look over here. I think I've got it pulled up here. And I do have it, and it's on one of the videos, LFT. If you go back on my playlist, it'll be on there. Here we go. I think it's a pilot flying J. Here it is right here. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it.
He swore to me that the last time he heard from her was in Charlotte, where she used his card. He said, Sharon, I swear I never heard from her after the last one in Charlotte. Well, you know what? Either did anybody else, because her phone was gone, everything was gone. And you know, if he didn't have something, God bless him, but I will tell you this, they used her money and they did something wrong. And they should have helped me find her, not hindered me from finding her. And if he didn't, then who is on that stretch? There's been a lot of people missing. Who is on that stretch where all these people seem to be missing?
Yeah,
You know, don't they
exactly.
care? Don't they care? You just want to pawn it off that she was on drugs and could have walked there? Bull crapola. Couldn't walk there without a water. What? 40 hours of walking? She had a bad foot.
Yep, and you
She
can see
had
Statesville Avenue. It's right there by 77 and 85.
my question out there to anyone, what I'd like to know is, how long is it going to take now that CODIS has made a match? And if anyone could find this out for me, I'm going to be calling them soon, but I probably won't get any answers. How long after CODIS says, hey, we found a DNA match, do they have to go through their protocol and actually confirm it to be positive, even though CODIS has basically said we have a match?
Right. And that is where we are today. Is Sharon received a phone call from law enforcement. Tell us what that phone call was about, Sharon. What exactly did law enforcement say to you in regards to this being a possible match to Amber?
Well, the Anson County detective called me and she said that the Sheriff Howe from Anson wanted her to call me, and she goes, I'm just going to read this to you. And it was a Monday evening, and my gut just sunk. I was driving home from I don't know where. And so anyway, she started reading it, and she said we did have a hit, you know, basically the DNA for the Anson County to Amber Rae Johnston, and she cried. I cried like a baby, but she cried too. Okay. And so I said, well, she goes, we just have to wait for some more, I want to say the word protocol. She didn't say that, but there's a process that has to be done after this before it could be I thought, to me, it was a positive identification, and they just have a process to go for. That's how I took it. But if you see the video that they had for Channel 11 News in Pittsburgh and in Winston-Salem, Charlotte area, you'll see that it says the Brian Tice, which I've never talked to him. He's at the sheriff's office. He said now that it's highly probable, I think his words were, and that it is Amber Johnston. But I think my understanding when I first got that call is that it was, and that they would be getting back to me so that I could bring her home. And it's been 2 weeks now, right? So, and I haven't heard anything. And I called Detective Sharp. He didn't know anything about it, but he was calling there, and I haven't heard from him either, which I was pretty devastated. Pretty good today, like I told you this morning, but I've been pretty much gloping around like a person that just isn't right. And I haven't had the strength to call, but I'll be starting to make calls again. You know, throughout this 3 years, Dutchie, you've been with me at it. There's been times I fought and I was strong, and times I couldn't even talk anymore because the emotion was just too high, and I had to get away from it for a while.
I understand.
So
I understand. And You are allowed to grieve and process this in your own way, in your own time. There is no right or wrong way to go through all of these emotions and feelings. This is your daughter. I can only imagine what you must be going through, and just know that
So
you have so much support.
this week I think I'm strong enough to make some calls and not get answers. Like, oh, well, we don't know. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 months. When you know, just get it done and do it. Then I have to go through the fact that they just, oh, she could have walked there without water, without anything. Nobody's seen her. Bull crap.
I agree. In this article that I just pulled up, this is actually from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And in this article done on March the 20th, it says a recent DNA match has linked a so-called Jane Doe found in rural North Carolina to Amber Rae Johnston, a Westmoreland County woman who went missing amid a cross-country bus trip back to her family in Pennsylvania in 2021. And this is, offshoot of the conversation that you spoke to the Anson Record, and a big shout out to the Anson Record for keeping Amber's face and information out there. We really do appreciate all the work that she did to keep this story alive and circulating to hopefully get answers for you and Amber's children. Amber is a mother of 5. She was 36 years old when she boarded that bus in Bullhead City, Arizona in mid-August of 2021. And police previously said that when the bus arrived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, she had purchased a ticket to Pittsburgh, and that ticket went unused. And her phone last pinged in Union County on August 19th. That was at that gas station that I showed you on Google Earth on Statesville Avenue in that area, which was also the same area where supposedly she used Jarrett Ward's SNAP benefit card to buy a drink in the machine. Now, authorities said that her phone was deactivated the next day near Charlotte.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
that
know
is,
anything about that. I don't
yeah,
know.
I-
Some of the articles really aren't quite right a little bit, but they get the gist of it and they get her out there, right?
right. And yeah, I see here about the Brian Tice, the captain of the Anson County Sheriff's Office, but you have never talked to him, correct?
Never.
Okay. And they were able to match Amber's DNA through CODIS, which that is a nationwide DNA database. So it's not a complete positive identification, but because the hit in CODIS was very similar to the DNA that was submitted from Amber's mom and her children, they do believe that this is a match. And so they are going to continue to finish out this complete DNA profile in NamUs so that Sharon can hopefully be able to take her daughter's remains. I understand that you did purchase her a burial plot beside of her grandfather and grandmother.
Yes, I did. Yep. It's waiting for her to get home.
I
Is
know
she
that
ever going to get home?
I really hope that this is going to happen sooner than later. And I hope that you will, continue to push for them to get this process on its way. I mean, to just give you this much information and then to not contact you for 2 weeks after they have made this phone call to you. I can't even understand that.
I can't either. What is it going to be like? Are they going to say that it's, I don't know. I can't understand it. Just like the dental records. They couldn't roll her out, but they couldn't say it was her. Well, now you got that, you got your DNA. So let's just get on. You got the pictures that I told you. That's my daughter. That is my daughter. If you put a side view of me, she looks just like me. Her friends know her stance. Everybody knew it was her. I got almost 100 calls that night while I was in bed when that picture first came out. And here's the other thing. You know, I just want to say this. In North Carolina, they got 90 days if they have an unidentified body. It is their law to report it and to start DNA and to report it to NamUs. 90 days. We don't have that in Pennsylvania, but I think they're working on it here to make that a law. Okay. Why did she sit for a year and a half somewhere? Why did her bones sit and no one know nothing? Why wasn't that picture out when Raylaw and the other girl, why weren't those pictures out? When we seen that body in Winston-Salem by the bus stop and I called Winston-Salem and asked about that body, why didn't they know about that girl down there? They said they put those pictures out there. Or when the body was found. How come nobody knew that body was found back then? We searched everywhere, Dutchie. We had everybody. Your listeners, my people that I know that weren't from your site. I had Myrtle Beach. I had Winston-Salem. I had every Officer Sharp that's supposed to get down that stretch everywhere. Why didn't anybody know about that unidentified body in Anson County in May of 2022? That's just wrong, and it was against their law, Dutchie.
I know. And again, this footage was taken from August the 21st of 2021, and these remains were discovered in May of 2022, guys. And no one came forward about these pictures or these remains until January of 2024.
When it was posted, and when someone submits it to NamUs, they get it in there pretty quick. So they took that long to do anything. And they say they put it out there. I don't believe them. Where's the pictures? Where's the date? I don't believe it. First of all, you had 90 days to get it reported to NamUs, and you never did your job. You let that body sit for a year and a half while we searched for her. While we searched for her. And I have the law. I was going to write to the people that brought that law into effect. 2 of them are retired. And I don't know, something came up probably that I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And I never wrote to their representative down there that basically initiated that law, because I wanted to talk to somebody about it. I just wanted to know why. Why?
Yeah, YouTube says, has the state's attorney general office been contacted? That would be probably a good place to start, because again, it's a 90-day law. If they find remains, it has to be entered into NamUs within 90 days. They held on to these remains from May 20 of 2022 until January of 2024. Why?
And I don't want to see this happen to any other family. That might not have been my daughter. That was somebody else's daughter, if it wasn't mine. And you know what? That law should have been followed. That is just totally boggles my mind. There's no reason for it. None.
Right. And LFT, we don't know the exact distance between where she's captured on the trail cam and where the remains were found on that lot, because as you can see,
I heard about a mile.
You heard about a mile? I never did hear any specifics.
I heard she was right by water, is what I heard.
There's 50 to 75 acres out there of and like I said, on that Google map, you could see where there was a new area that was cleared off. That's a new middle school that they're building. But at the time that she went missing, there was nothing out there. That was all woods. So, was she pushed out of a car? Was she taken out in the woods? And
was she chased in there?
I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were, but it seems like if she was put out on the side of the road by the armory, she would have stayed near the armory or near the road, because she would have known that she could have gotten help. So how did she end up in the middle of 50 to 75 acres of empty land that she couldn't find her way out of?
I'll tell you how she found her way in there. It's someone that knows the territory. He certainly didn't know the territory. So is it someone from somewhere from Winston-Salem to that area? Or is it someone that came up to Winston-Salem from that area? Or in Myrtle?
Elizabeth said, who owned the land? Do four-wheelers go back there? Well, these were trail cam. This was trail cam footage because people hunted on that land. This land was used for hunting.
There were
So-
rabbit hunters. There were supposedly rabbit hunters on that land that took some money out of a backpack they found, but they don't remember anything about the backpack. I was told that after I contacted the police, I believe I was told they went out there on horseback to try to look for anything else and didn't find anything else out that way, out in through those thicket woods.
Yeah. And that Michelle says, has her cause of death ever been released? You mean for the remains? I haven't
No.
seen anything.
The only thing they told me was that nothing looked, from my understanding, and don't quote me, but because I didn't buy it, she didn't get out there by herself. Something happened. But they said that it appeared that there was no damage to the skeletal remains. Now, like someone had pointed out to me, you're not going to see damage on those skeletal remains if someone strangled you or if someone did something to you or if someone put you out there, right? So,
Yeah. Those details are long gone
yes.
with the weathering of the body. You're not necessarily going to know that.
She was skeletal, but she was intact from my understanding.
Elizabeth wants to know, did they find the walking stick?
That I don't know.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, there could be DNA on that walking stick.
For sure. It's just very odd how this all went unreported. I just feel like there's so many questions.
Don't the police use that armory? Don't they hunt there just out of curiosity? Please, I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I'm not saying that the police were involved in this anyway. So, and I don't feel that way. But is that armory used for like a range for hunting for law enforcement or anything? I'm just curious.
I'll have to look up and see what I know it's a training center.
Someone
there.
told me that, and I'm just curious. I just was always just curious about that. But I don't want anyone to think in any way that I think the police had anything to do with this. I want to make that quite clear.
And I wanted to also, I did find some information that said, it looks like that she was found about 100 yards west of Culpeper Creek, which is about 265 yards due west from the back of the armory. So I think that is very interesting. I don't really know a lot of information about the armory there, or who owned all of the land. I know that there were private trail cams back there, so I'm assuming that the land that butts up to that area was actually owned by someone private.
Yes, it was, and they did get permission to search that area after I had contacted them, and I thought they were going out there. Well, they said they were going out there, but they got full permission to search that area. There was another guy, Robbie Hill, I think Robbie Hill. He has trucks or something by there, and he wrote on a site on Reddit that she was only a mile from a road and a house. But he said that they posted pictures, him and his son or someone posted pictures out. He isn't the one that owned the cams, but he's a neighbor of the one that owned the cams. And he said they had posted those pictures out. Well, we couldn't find any. We looked on his son's side. We looked everywhere. We looked anyone that were his friends. We looked for that picture everywhere. Never seen those cam pictures.
Yeah, I remember us trying to go down the rabbit hole to find out, you
Just
know.
one picture. Let's just see one picture that says that this was true. I still want to see one picture where they said when they found that body that they sent it to law enforcement and they sent it everywhere. I want to see one show on TV that said, hey, we found these remains. One thing from May of 2022 to January of 2024. I've never seen one thing that
Yeah,
said that you tried to do something in that year and a half.
right, Elizabeth. The pics were never seen before January of 2024. Now, the skeletal remains were uncovered, like I said, during that land survey that they were doing to build that new middle school. That was conducted on May the 12th of 2022. And the media and the public were only made aware of the discovery back in January of 2024. And that was because it got posted on the NamUs.gov website as the Anson County Jane Doe. And they basically listed that the young woman was found wearing a black Secret Treasures bra, size 34C, and leggings, and that the woman matching the limited description was placed on NamUs and was seen on a trail camera positioned near the location where the remains would eventually be found on August 22nd of 2021, wearing similar clothing to that of the skeletal remains. And aside from that, at that time, they only provided that 2 rabbit hunters came across a backpack in the woods near the trail cams and the remains in February of 2022, and they took the money from the backpack prior to reporting the discovery to law enforcement. And neither the hunters nor law enforcement were ever able to locate the backpack again after that. No further description of the remains, the cause of death, the hair color of the deceased, the description of the backpack, or the contents has ever been made public, and it still has not been made public. The only thing that's on there is what they have listed on NamUs, which is everything that we've told you about. There was no news coverage about that just until recently, and it's really only because the people that have tried to come together to get this information out there to push for them to try to identify if this could possibly be either April Williams or Amber Rae Johnston. And when they did the dental identification, it actually ruled out the young girl April that was missing. But they could not for sure say that it wasn't Amber. So they left it at undetermined and said they would have to do a DNA comparison. And that's kind of how all of that was set into motion. And I think, you know, a lot of people's questions, which it was also a question of mine, Sharon, is how does a young woman get caught on a trail cam and no one asks any questions?
I don't know. But we don't know what, but one thing that we got to remember, okay? We don't know if he had that trail cam on his phone, that he's seen that when it happened, or that if he might have caught that on his trail cam at a later date when he looked. I don't know that answer.
I mean,
you know,
supposedly the guy sent these pictures a while back, but no one did anything about it.
But no one did. They said they did go out and search and they didn't see anything. That's what I heard. I believe that's what I heard.
I truly feel like this should have been aired on national TV because
well,
what
yeah,
if this could have been, what if this could have saved her life? What if
she was out there that whole time?
I mean,
even if he didn't see that trail cam till September, why didn't you go look around?
It's just not normal to see a young woman who has found herself alone in an unfamiliar place in all of these acres of woods, half naked in the middle of the morning at 4:30
None of
in the
her
morning.
belongings that she took. Jared said she left her belongings behind. And I go, how do you know that? And he said, because Armenta, from where she was staying in Bullhead City, called his mom and asked if she knew where Amber was because she left her belongings there. When I talked to Armenta, she said she absolutely didn't leave anything behind. The only thing she left behind was a little bit of garbage that she would have never taken. She took all of her belongings in her backpack and off she went. Where are all her belongings? Somebody has them.
Now, it does, in the article that I pulled up that I have, and like I said again, I have covered an entire playlist of Amber Rae Johnston. And one of the other things is, you know, and we did talk about this. Did she escape someone? And they found her. Was she murdered? Was she left out there to die? I mean, clearly she looks injured. She's using a walking stick to navigate in the dark. And those first pictures, which I don't have the first pictures, but it does say that she first appears on the trail cam at 1:30 in the morning and 1:34 a.m.
Yes.
And in those pictures, I didn't actually add those because you can barely just see the front of her body and the end of her heel in those particular pictures. You can just barely see that she's visible in that picture. And it led me to believe that maybe she was running from somebody at that time. And then the same female, of course, is seen on that trail camera again, coming from the opposite way between 4:30 and 4:31 a.m.
She could have been hiding a little bit down there and thought she could come back up.
Right.
That they would be gone. If that could have also happened. Like I said, well, I may never know, but I believe there's someone out there that knows.
I do too.
And it sure would be nice to tell, you know?
It sure would. Hey, Paula, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. I think LFT had a question. LFT said, trying to think about what else was going on around that time that would potentially explain why the info wasn't shared. I don't know. Maybe I just think that it was just ignored. I don't think that it was taken into account that this could be something that they needed to look into immediately. LFT also says, Sharon, when was your last communication with Amber?
I last talked to her in July. I had that written here about the second week. And I was texting her, and who knows if it was even her, because Jared always took her phone and her friends all collaborated that as well. And she got into an argument with me over something. And I said, Amber, please, I need you to go to mental health and I need you to just go talk to them. And she kind of started texting me. It was Facebook Messenger and just got really nasty. And I just kind of, I've had that happen before though. And I just kind of wasn't talking to her, but she was coming home. And I knew she would come home. I could always find her every other time that she took off or something. I could always find her. My last conversation was July 21st of 2021.
And she had told you that she was planning on coming home.
Not that one. She was mad at me, but she told her, but I don't even know if it was her. Because on the way home, on the way on that bus, she told her friend, I want to see your new baby and I miss my kids. I need my family and I need my mom, she told me. And she said, can you check? And she told her a couple places to see if there was a bed available and that she would be coming home and she couldn't wait to see her new baby. So who knows if that fight I even got with her. Here's the funny thing. Everybody always said Amber was always sweet to them. She would write to everybody over out here. Well, right when this was all going down, everybody that she talked to, because they would show me messages, she was saying terrible, crazy things to them. Like I was saying bad things about me, bad things about them, that they were bad names, whores, things like that. And they all unfriended her. Her supports unfriended her, Was it her sending those?
Well, you
I-
told me that he's taken her phone before,
The
and
time her friends all said it down here. Every person that reaches out to me down here said the same stuff. And we're in agreement. It was my niece told me this. It was her ex-sister-in-law, you would kind of consider, even though she wasn't married to the kid's dad. But everybody showed me the different messages. That girl down South Carolina, what's her name? Tatiana.
yes,
Same thing. Everybody. And these were all her friends that she talked to. And other than the one she wrote on the bus, but it seems like everybody that wrote to her and said, what's going on, Amber? They got these terrible, crazy messages from her and just really, really bad. And she never talked to them like that. Nobody understood. And people unfriended her. They just unfriended her. Is that because, Amber told me one day, Mom, she said, and this was probably in June or somewhere, and I have it on my phone. Jared will never do nothing to me because he knows. And I think about this, and I know she knew I loved her. She goes, Jarrett knows that you will never stop looking for me if you can't find me. And I told him that he won't do anything to me because you'll find him. You'll find me and you'll find him. How do you like that one?
yeah. And yes, that Michelle, the ex-boyfriend passed away from an overdose. He was apparently purchasing drugs off the dark web, and was struggling with addiction. And he did pass away in September of 2023. Before Sharon could get answers, we had been pushing for law enforcement to speak with him, because we felt like he knew more information about what actually happened to Amber, what could have transpired. He had conversations with Amber. He had a phone call with her while she was on her bus trip and had texted to her. And he even told Amber's mother that.
He had a phone call with her when she would have been in Charlotte.
Remember when you came to the beach and you met that nice lady who was also hanging flyers in Myrtle Beach down by the homeless camp?
Yeah.
And she was going to go meet Jarrett and you and all at the police station.
Yeah, I met her, but he wouldn't let her pick her up. And that's when he said,
Yep.
I'm not doing that. I don't trust him. My attorney, da, 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 da. What attorney? My family said that's not a good idea. All we
Ugh.
wanted was that phone that they were texting on and to show them Amber's messages so we could try to pinpoint. And plus, I wanted to get him there. I wanted to see him. And at this point, I wasn't convinced that he had anything to do with it either. I just wanted him to help. He said he wanted to help. Well, then I realized, no, he didn't want to help.
Yeah. And LFT, there was really no footage that was ever obtained from the bus stations. We had got on to Detective Sharp. We begged for him to go look at all of the different stops to get footage to prove. Her phone did ping in Flagstaff, Arizona, and it pinged. I guess they had some type of, because that's where she bought the ticket, was when she got off the bus in Winston. But we begged him to please get the footage from the bus station so that we could, see her, because anybody could be using that bus ticket. Because in case you don't know, LFT, you don't have to show an identification when you get on the bus with that ticket.
Yeah, because anybody could purchase that ticket online and just show it on their phone. And I wasn't convinced she still wasn't out there and something happened and someone came back. But I said, the bus has a lot of stops on the way. And I said, can you just call every stop that she got off or that she was off? Because they can tell when you got off and when you got back on. And I said, can you please, because we just wanted to identify her that she was on that bus, to make sure that someone else wasn't using that. So that's how that started way in the beginning. And, all the officer said is it was my fault. Well, we got into that little argument. Jarrett went to jail. I thought she was down there. Then I thought she might have went to rehab. And I did wait a little bit, but I was looking for her at the time. My mother passed away in that time. I was taking care of my mother, and it was just a bad situation. But I was looking for her. I didn't even know where to start because she went from Myrtle Beach to Wyoming to Denver. She ended up in Bullhead. I didn't exactly even know where to call. You know, I started with a flyer from the Aware Foundation. Is that what it's called? The Aware Foundation? That's where I started. I started with that. I started with my own flyer. Then I got one from them, and then I called. And then Jarrett was in jail for a while for loitering and having brass knuckles. In September, he went to jail. So I waited till October till he got out, start questioning him. I mean, he told me he thinks she went to a rehab. And I said, well, you need to call me when she gets a hold of you. And, you know, but I kept looking. And then when I couldn't really find any, I think it was in the beginning of December, that's when I start calling. And I said, look, something's wrong. I can't find my daughter, you know, and she didn't make it easy for me. She certainly didn't make it easy for me. But I could always find her. Anytime she did something or went somewhere, I always found her. You know, I found her when she went to prison down Myrtle Beach, sent her packages, care packages and things. I always found her everywhere. This time I didn't find her, but I think we found her now. I know we found her now. I just hope that they speed their processes up and do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I wish they would look into how she got there a little better. There's trails. There's paper trail.
Yeah, and I wish they would have taken us seriously about looking into the digital forensics, because I think that could have proven a lot of the information that we were saying, you know. And thank you for saying that YouTube is asshole. I appreciate you being here. The state attorney general is Jeff Jackson. In North Carolina, he took office on January the 1st of 2025, and I'm going to drop his link in the chat, and I'll send that to you, Sharon, if you want to reach out to him, because maybe he can help to push this for you so that they can go ahead and get this case closed out and quit wasting time and twiddling their thumbs, because I feel like that's what they've been doing.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff Jackson.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll send you that link on your text message. But I
That
did
sounds
drop in
great.
chat if anybody else wants to write an email, you know, because I feel like that's the way to go, is to reach out to people and say, hey, there's this case, and, you know, this family needs to get answers. And that's what we do. Hey, Allison, thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I just want you to be able to get answers, because I know that you want to be able to bring your daughter home, and you want to be able to have some type of closure. I know it's not the closure that you were hoping for, but you and Amber's children need to be able to have that. And the longer that this goes on and they're just taking their time, I just feel like it makes it more difficult for you. You've already had to wait this long.
It's like, you know what? It's like I grieve and then I get better. And then something happens and I grieve again and then I get a little better. And then this is going to happen again. You know, it's like I have to go through the process every month. I have to go through the cycle that I just want to, you know, I just want to grieve. I want to bring her home and have a sense of a little bit of closure.
Right. Now, Don't Dox Me says, baffles me that the bus itself didn't share digital forensics, because buses have CCTV, right? Well, Don't Dox Me. The problem is yes, they do. A lot of buses do have CCTV, and so do the bus stations. But because Detective Sharp did not take this case very seriously, maybe it's because Amber, he thought maybe because she was, you know, she had addiction situations, maybe that it wasn't imperative to look into all of this. This came at the pressure from Sharon and I, emailing and calling him, asking him to obtain that footage. And when he finally decided that he wanted to go and look into getting the footage, there was no footage, because that footage was gone. So there wasn't any footage to be able to clarify any information.
Or did he ever go to try to get it?
Well,
I
he
don't
said
know
that
that.
he did, but I mean, do we really know what happened, Sharon? We don't. And that's the sad part. We should have never had to even ask him to do that, because it seems like if you're really trying to help track somebody down that could be in a dangerous situation, if they would have taken this serious from jump, we could have gotten the answers then. But
I
no
think
one
so.
was listening. You thought CCTV was permanent? Well, according to law enforcement, it's not.
I just wonder if there's anything in the cloud at any of these places. And, I think I guarantee we could have got footage, but nobody
I know.
tried at the time.
Yeah, and it takes law enforcement to get that. Like, I did call Greyhound and to see if I could have Sharon to call to ask for the information, and the Greyhound people, they were very rude.
They won't give it to me. It takes
They
the,
wouldn't. Yeah,
yeah.
they would not give it to Sharon, and they did not want to speak to me about it. They said, if you need any information, you will need to have law enforcement to contact. And that's when, he said he was going to look into it, but unfortunately, the only thing that he could tell us was that her phone last pinged in Union County near Charlotte.
And
on
how
Oc-
about this? How about this? We actually got the approval for FBI assistance. They had the whole files. They sent them all to Myrtle Beach, and then nobody did nothing. How many times did I hear they were going to bring them in? They were going to question them. I remember sitting at
Mhm.
the steakhouse when he told me that, and I was crying. It was years ago. The FBI is going to question them. Then all of a sudden, the FBI was just going to assist. Then the FBI sat and found did nothing because they're shorthanded. Then the FBI said it didn't meet the
Yes.
threshold. It was one thing after the other. Every time I thought I got somewhere and someone was helping, I'd go right back down the drain.
Yep, I remember that. They called in the FBI because they were going to do all of this stuff, and then Sharon would call and try to reach out to the detective, and he would not call her back, and then he would change his story. And then we got the Social Security investigator
Yep.
involved and had him to look about her money being stolen, and they were going to, try to talk with Jarrett Ward in regards to the money being taken, because where the money
Or
was
get,
transferred was
yeah.
not to Amber's account. It was linked to him, y'all.
Oh yeah, all of it was linked to him. His JT Dubs was one of his cash apps. He spent it all. He bought burner phones. They showed that he spent it all. It
Yep.
was proven. And you
That's
know
a
what? They
federal
never even
crime.
questioned him. And then, it was fraud. Their fraud department for Social Security should have been out there. Someone should have been out there. And I couldn't get anybody to do anything. And at this time, this girl was gone for 6 months to a year.
Yep. And they promised Sharon that they were going to investigate. They were going
And
to
bring them
interview
into
him.
questioning them.
Yep. And it never happened. And y'all, that's fraud. You put a 1 in the chat if you think if you took somebody's Social Security money while they were missing out of their account and transferred it into your Cash App or PayPal, that the Social Security Administration and law enforcement wouldn't be coming to look for you to arrest you for fraud. And they would be putting you in jail. Come on now. They had every opportunity
To
to
bring
have
them
a
into
reason.
questioning them.
Yes, and they did not do it. And
And at the very least, all I wanted was, okay, maybe there was a fight. Maybe there was an argument. You stole the money. Say you're sorry. Tell the truth. If you didn't say, I did this, but I don't know. This is, and give your phone. Let us know what the conversation is. Tell the truth. And then you wouldn't have this cloud of suspicion, or if something did happen, maybe she ran on her own. Maybe she did. They were doing drugs, but let us find her. You're not necessarily going to go to jail for that. You didn't do anything. But you did do something. You stole her money. You stole her food stamps. You lied about everything. You told your sister's boyfriend that she went with the guy on the bus. That picture with that guy that she took off with a guy in a bus. That was a total untrue thing. Nobody ever heard that one because you had all these messages that she was coming down to see you and she wanted to be with you and she hated me. And she had this way to get her kids back. All these cockamamie, there were so many cockamamie stories that you just cannot believe. And so that's why I feel the way I feel. People will say, you just don't want to come to terms that your daughter was on drugs and she just wandered off. No, I want to come to terms that something happened and maybe nobody did it to her and she was part of what happened. But you know what? She didn't just wander off from Winston-Salem all by her lonesome self and get in those woods without nothing and threw her phone out because she was paranoid. Didn't happen. Didn't happen in the last 15 years and wasn't going to happen then. So I'm not in denial. You know, I see these kind of things written and it's just kind of got to me, but
I know it's been very frustrating. This has been a long fight for us. And I hate to say it, but I just feel like law enforcement didn't take this situation very serious. We could have gotten footage. They could have looked at the digital forensics on his phone. They could have looked at the digital forensics on Amber's phone. They could have figured out.
they could have called Winston-Salem
action.
police and found out if there was any bodies. And if Anson County said what they said they did, he would have been alerted immediately back in May or even when them cam footage came, but no one did anything.
Yeah.
Oh, they did a little bit. I can't be that mean.
Well, but we did have to put some pressure on them.
Everything was a fight.
Yes. I can't tell you how many phone calls Sharon and I had. She's going to call the detective. We're going to call the Greyhound bus stations. I mean, I worked this case along with Sharon for days and nights. I would just stay up writing letters,
trying to do the timeline, trying to figure the bus route. Did she get on it? The incident where she almost drowned and didn't have her stuff, and how did that ever tie in? And
yeah, because the way that he said that the whole bus route happened, we established wasn't even true. And I made an entire video about that bus route. And I was able to identify, signs on the bus route to say exactly where that bus route went through. And he was trying to say that she was on that bus. And we ended up establishing that that wasn't even the bus route that was actually from Bullhead City, Arizona.
Oh, that one, he said that she got to Texas. She was never in Texas.
Yeah.
And her bus never went to Texas. But I do have a list of where that bus, I think she was headed to Pittsburgh, and I think for some reason, something happened. She backtracked her ticket, and then she rerouted, because he wrote something where it was a reroute. She rerouted it so that she could stop in Winston, and that was going to be a meeting point for something, whether it was some money that was going to be given, some glasses, whether it was a farewell goodbye, whether it was maybe I was going to come down there and boy, I really still changed my mind. I don't know. Something happened there. Something happened there. But she knew what her money meant to her. Her money was her money. And if she purchased a ticket to Pittsburgh, she was A, going to exchange it for one to Myrtle Beach, or B, return it if she wanted to stay in that vicinity. And she did none of them. She bought that ticket, she paid for it, and she never used it. She never boarded that bus to come back home, and she never purchased another ticket to go there. So something happened in that trail.
Well, she had, Sharon, Amber had also told you that he had access to her Facebook, that he had taken her phone several other
all
occasions.
the time.
Yeah, and there was a picture of a guy sleeping on a bus, and Jarrett was trying to say that that was her new boyfriend that
Yeah.
she was traveling with, and it turns out this guy didn't have anything to do with it. It was just a random picture of a
Yeah,
guy
he
on the
told
bus.
he
We don't
yeah,
even
that
think
was
she posted that.
yeah, that was another story. We know
Mhm.
she didn't post that video going to Ensley, Alabama. We know she didn't post that. And Jarrett Leary said he believed that video, that was Jarrett's video. And Jarrett told me that he knows where that was at. That was in Alabama near Birmingham because his bus took that route on the way home.
Thank you, LFT. I appreciate that so much. You know, I'm originally from North Carolina, and I live just over the border in South Carolina. So a lot of the cases that I cover are in the Carolinas, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot. LFT, I know her wheels are turning because we spent days and months building this timeline, trying to put it all together because we could not get law enforcement on board to do that. So I appreciate that. LFT, it really means so much to me. Allison, thank you so much for becoming a new member. And thank you, Debbie Nielsen, for joining the membership. I appreciate you both. It means the world to me. Sharon, is there anything that you would want to share with other families who have children or loved ones missing? What is your message to families that are going through similar situations that you have experienced in searching for your daughter? What is your message?
Just take your time. When it comes to a point, just don't give up. But just I don't really know, and just look for supports out there. Look for people, look for supports. I can tell you that in about 2.5 years I'm going to be retiring, and this may be something I'm going to hop on board to go search for people. And I would like to do something like that, and I see the Andrea Nabel. I don't know if that's how you say her name. You familiar with that case, Dutchie?
Yes, Andrea Nabel, I sure am.
It really reminds me, my Amber story almost reminds me of hers in a way. Like they could track her to so far, and then that's just it. And there's just so many similarities, but she was out looking for people, and hers was different in that aspect. But it kind of, I feel so bad for that family because they're not giving up, and they're looking, and they got their voice out there, and if you can just get some people like you to reach, to help with people, get anybody that you can get involved, and, hopefully we can just find these people.
We have a lot of missing people, especially out here in the Carolinas. I can't believe how many people go missing on a daily basis in just my area. But as a whole in the United States, I mean, every 40 seconds, somebody goes missing.
There's
We have
over 15,000 unclaimed bodies. No, there's over 19,000 unclaimed bodies. There's over 15,000 unidentified bodies. There's over 15,000 missing people. And not every state is required to report to NamUs. That's just the ones. And is South Carolina, Dutchie? I don't think they're required to report. I don't think it's part of South Carolina's law.
That's supposed to be something that was going to be put into motion because, well, we do have a law where you're supposed to be able to report somebody missing within 24 hours. And, I've covered Tyler Doyle's case, and they wouldn't even give him a missing persons report for 3 months because law enforcement said, well, he drowned, even though they didn't have any proof.
Boy, he's missing.
He's missing still, and we finally got it, but it took a lot of pulling teeth and hair and screaming.
But I don't think that they have even that, unless you pressure like you did with the Tyler Doyle. I don't think they even have to put it in NamUs. I'm not sure. I'd like to know. But one thing I would like to go forward is get a group of people, and I would like to see that every single state and every single missing person or unidentified person gets in that system within 90 days, like North Carolina's law was supposed to be, and that was supposed to be done. But I would like to see that. I'd like to push for that to be mandated for every state to have it in there within a time frame.
The
I
last
mean,
thing that I see here, it looks like, according to what I have, there's 10 states that are required to report to NamUs in this article. And it looks like that is the federal law, 34 USC statute 40501 through 40505 focuses on the reporting of unidentified and missing persons. And it includes an authorization of grants for combating the problem of missing and unidentified persons, grant eligibility, use of funds, and reports to Congress on such matters. This section of the law has been amended and added to throughout the years, including recently updates that include the Missing Persons and Unidentified Remains Act of 2019. And these laws likely will continue to be updated as technology advances. Federal law does not require local law enforcement to use NamUs services.
It's the states. The
Right.
states make that
right.
That law.
It looks like New York has amended a law that they be reported to NamUs in 30 days. Texas is considering legislation to mandate NamUs, which I believe that is known as John and Joseph's Law, to require law enforcement to enter all available features into NamUs and the NCIC. So I'm hoping, I believe Texas has passed that. I know Washington, as of 2020, has CODIS law. So that is when a person's been missing more than 30 days, they automatically collect DNA and put that into the NCIC and NamUs. Some of the other states are New Mexico, Oklahoma, Illinois, Michigan, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, West Virginia. Connecticut has legislation, but they do not have a protocol. And at the time of this article, Texas was still in the process of carrying this out. So in South Carolina, it has not yet been passed.
Pennsylvania, I don't know. It might have passed recently, but it's in the legislation. So I'm going to work on that up here. But I want every state, and most of these states put it in there, but it's not required. And if it was required, we might have a lot more matches. Well, then again, it's required in North Carolina, and look what they did with Anson County Jane Doe. They should be held responsible for it. I'm sorry, Dutchie. It's how I feel.
Now, it does look like here in South Carolina, what I found was a South Carolina General Assembly 125th session that took place between 2023 and 2024. The bill sponsor was Senator Rice. And it looks like there was a bill to amend the South Carolina Code of Laws to help find the missing act and to help, retain and furnish certain information for decedents' bodies for examination, for SLED's forensic service laboratories to collect the DNA, to provide the information to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, and require the collection of dental records by law enforcement agencies of persons who are subjects of missing person reports under certain circumstances. And this act, the Help Find the Missing Act, it basically goes into a large detail about what all of that is about. And supposedly the governor was going to be voting, on that. And it's supposed to have taken place in 2024. Are they actually utilizing that? That's a very good question, because I've not really seen that here in my own state. I have reached out. Fortunately, I've been able to make connections with Governor McMaster here in South Carolina because of Tyler Doyle's case. I've been able to speak to the local solicitor, as well as people that are on our council, as well as our local senator. And these are things that we're just continuing to talk with our local legislators about. If you live in any of these states where this is not a law, I encourage you to reach out to your legislative body, write them an email, send them information and explain why this is so very important, and let them know.
Yes, and that's my thing. That's what I'm going to do after my whole process is done. I'm going to look at those type of things and my free time. This is something I'm going to work on. And just remember, anybody out there, if something don't look right, if you see something that don't look right, say something. It can't
Exactly.
hurt. Anywhere you see someone walking, I'm more aware of a lot of different things that I watch and I see. And if something don't look right, say something. It don't hurt.
I agree with that. If you see something, say something. And that goes with anything. If don't just be someone that stands by watching something unfold and not do anything. If you feel like that there is a situation that you don't feel good about, like, you need to contact somebody because you could save somebody's life.
Exactly. And I want to thank you for having me on here, Dutchie, and you've been a help, and we'll be lifelong friends over this. And if there's anything I can help you out with any of your stuff, 2.5 years, I'll fly down.
I appreciate that,
And
Sharon.
anything that you might have that's out this way, any of your subscribers, anybody, if they want to ask me any questions, by all means, they can know where to find me. I'll come and talk, and they could always Facebook me or anything. And if anybody needs my help this way, I want to help other people. They've helped me so much, and I want to give back.
I appreciate that. And that really means a lot because you have a great story to share with people because you are living this. This is a firsthand experience for you. And to be able to take that journey and share that with other people in order to help other families help find their missing person, and get answers and closure, I know that really means a lot. And you have such a beautiful heart, Sharon. And I hate that we met under these circumstances, but you are such a dear friend to me. And I just want you to be able to have the closure, and for Amber's children to know that their mom has come home, that she can be laid to rest, and you guys can begin that process to
Yes,
process all of this. And it's going to take time, but
yes,
just know that we're here to support you in any way that we can.
and I will keep you posted, and we'll follow this journey till we bring her home. Okay.
Sounds good, Sharon. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to all your listeners. And just keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sharon. I'm going to let you
Okay.
go. I know you have things to do. I hope you have a wonderful day. Y'all show some love to Sharon
Thanks
in the
too.
chat.
Thank
Take
you
care,
all.
Sharon.
Love you all. Bye bye.
Love you too. Bye-bye. Y'all put some hearts and prayer hands in the chat for Miss Sharon. We sure do appreciate her being here. And I'm going to let her go. This story it's really been something, guys. 3.5 years. This was the very first case that I actually helped a family to try to find resolve and answers. And we're still not quite there yet. We're still not quite there yet, but we're not going to give up hope because Sharon's going to get those answers for Amber's children. So don't give up hope. I know that it means so much to her. And listen how strong she is. Listen how she wants to take her situation that she has been through, her experience, and use that to help find other missing people and to advocate. That is true strength, Sharon Johnston, and we appreciate you so much. Minda Monster says, sending you so much love, Sharon. Some of our strongest advocates are our families that go through this fight firsthand. Absolutely. So many prayers and love. Y'all, she's an amazing person. Her resilience this has got to be so tough for her. Now, don't dox me. I will tell you that that's not always true. Unfortunately, Tyler's family, we contacted NamUs to have him put into NamUs, and NamUs told Tyler's family they could not put him into NamUs without an NCIC official report from law enforcement. Now, NamUs will add them to that, but they must be contacted by law enforcement with the official NCIC report. If there is not an official report in the NCIC, NamUs will not add it to their documents. They will reach out to law enforcement to ask them to do that. But until that has been officially done, NamUs will not add it to their system. And that was the delay in getting Tyler Doyle added to NamUs, was waiting on Ronnie Floyd with the South Carolina DNR to get Tyler Doyle's NCIC report made. And that was 4 months later, in April, after he went missing on January the 26th. So it may say that, but it's not always true, unfortunately, which is very sad. Hey, Patty, thank you for being here. She is a strong woman, and we're so very thankful that she may be getting the answers that she and Amber's children. Amber is also a grandmother, y'all. After she went missing, her child gave birth, and Amber didn't even know that she was a grandmother. And I know this has been a very difficult time for her children. It has been way too long, for sure. And I just appreciate you guys being here to allow me to talk to you guys about this, because I wanted to give you guys an update and also share encouragement for my other parents and families who have missing loved ones, because I know that you're still seeking answers. Don't give up hope. You have so many people out here that are willing to help in any way that they can. We're going to keep sharing their flyers, keep sharing their information. Mind of Monsters has a wonderful channel. Her, Kimber, Doodlebug, Arctic Fox, Southern Gal True Crime, Cold Case Crystal. There's a lot of really great channels that are here to allow families to share their story without being bullied and harassed. Listen, everybody can have their own opinions. It's not about the opinions. It's about the way that you carry yourself in a chat. We can all think differently and have different ideas about cases, but I cannot allow people to harass the families, to accuse them of murder and heinous things that they have no factual evidence or basis to say that. It's not helpful for the case, and it's not helpful for finding the missing person. It just brings more drama and stress to the families that are out here searching for their missing loved one. So we're here to be a voice of reason, to give families the opportunity to share their story, to talk about their missing loved one, where they can be given dignity and respect, and factual information can be shared. And if there's not factual information to be shared, then we're probably going to talk about other cases. We're not going to drive the case into the ground, hanging on by a thread, because we have our opinions. This is just YouTube, guys. We're not detectives. We're not law enforcement. But we do have a lot of resources, and I give all of those resources to the families before they ever decide to come on and talk about these cases on my channel. And I do also encourage all families, before they speak to me, to reach out to their local news stations, to reach out to law enforcement, And I give them all of the resources, what to do when your child, when your family member goes missing. And it's filled with lots of different resources of people that they can contact and reach out to, 501c3s, search and rescue groups, law enforcement agencies that are there to help advocate and provide them the help that they need. Mind of Monsters also has a really good list of resources, and I appreciate Mind of Monsters putting that together. I'll have to share that with you guys sometime as well. Wonderful list. So I appreciate y'all joining me. I just wanted to give Sharon the opportunity to be able to talk to you guys. She called me and asked if we could do a live stream where she could just tell you what was on her mind and what she's been going through and where she is today in this fight to bring her daughter home so she can lay Amber to rest and try to start the process of having some type of closure in all of this. But it's not over. This is not over for her family, because we still don't know exactly how Amber got to this situation. And just because Jarrett Ward has passed away, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be any answers, because just like Sharon said, we do believe that there is someone out there that knows what happened to Amber. If you have any information on Amber Rae Johnston, please do not hesitate. Reach out to law enforcement. You can reach out to the Anson County Sheriff's Department in North Carolina, or you can actually call the Bullhead City Police Department in Arizona. I don't know if Detective Sharp is still on the case, if he's retired. I know his retirement was actually coming up, but you can actually call 928-763-1999 to the Bullhead City Police Department and let them know that you have a tip about Amber Rae Johnston. I'm sure they would allow you to remain anonymous, but it would be helpful to help Amber's family find closure. The case number is 22-00520. We do believe that the CODIS hit, which, by the way, Amber was in CODIS because Amber had been arrested before. She had issues with addiction. Her and Jarrett were both in and out of addiction in their homelessness. And that's how her DNA was actually in CODIS. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve justice. Her mother loves her and cares about her. Amber was telling her friend on her bus trip home that she was wanting to go back home to Pennsylvania so that she could get clean. She asked her friend to help her to get a bed so that she could go into rehab and get clean and make it right so that she could get her life together and be there for her children. And Amber deserved to have that happen. But something happened in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And she didn't get back on that bus, but instead ended up in these woods in Anson County, Wadesboro, North Carolina, in between Charlotte and North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And how that happened, I'm not sure what transpired that day, but I do know that the truth can come out if the people that have any information will come forward. There can be answers in these cases. So don't forget, if you see something, say something. Let's continue to work together to help these families find closure and justice. I appreciate y'all joining me today. Please don't forget to like this stream and share this out for factual information about Amber Rae's case. I do appreciate each one of you being here today. And thank you to all the new members that joined today. It really means so much to me that you guys support our mission here. I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. We're going to be doing our Missing Flyer Monday tomorrow night at 7:15. I hope to see you guys. If you have any missing flyers that you would like for me to feature, you can send those to me on Facebook Messenger or to my email, which is right here on my screen, duchessforthemissing@gmail.com. You can also send those to me on Discord. If there's any flyers that you want me to feature, please let me know about it, and I'll be happy to do that. I'm going to go spend the afternoon. My husband's got to help me get a shower with my fractured hand that's still in a cast. Got a couple things I've got to work on. So, hey, Poco, you did get a membership. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you, Debbie. I'm so glad to see you back around. I hope you're doing well. Remember to take care of yourself out there, and because the YouTube streets are crazy right now. But we're always going to keep it on point over here, doing what we do, sharing awareness for the missing. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And if you want me to share a flyer from your area to be featured on my Missing My Flyer Monday, please just send it to me. Or if you're connected with Kimber, Mind of Monsters, Arctic Fox, you can send it to them and say, hey, can you shoot this over to Duchess so she can share this flyer for me? I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody. And I'll see y'all then. Bye, y'all.
You only live once. You only live once. You only live once. You can't break me or erase me. I'm not alone. I've got all my friends. They inspire me to be young and free. Now I'm strong.